the winds of New England, WNDS Dairy.
Bob Moran won the very first Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions back in 1989. Paul Berger not only won the 1990 championship, he established himself as a tournament regular. The 1991 title went to Pat Pay, who won 4 matches on his way to the championship. The 4th year of the tournament was dominated again by the number 4 seed. This time, it was Mike Morgan. In 1993, Peter Flynn fired 3 consecutive 400 triples on the way to the championship. And last year, a quick start made Joe Ashline the 6th different champion in the first 6 years of this tournament. This year, John Plante comes in as the number 6 seed, and the tournament starts today with his match against 5th seed Jack Quinn, each making his first tournament appearance. Tom Morgan is the number 4 seed. He's in the tournament for the 3rd time, looking for his first win. Gary Carrington is back in the tournament after a 4-year wait. He's the number 3 seed this year. The 2nd seed is Chris Sargent, making his debut in the Tournament of Champions. Our top seed this year is Paul Berger, who has a chance to become the first ever 2-time champion. Welcome to the 7th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. He got it. He's ready to go for a spin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Looks good. Looks good. It's good to go.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire, and a special welcome today because it is time to begin our 7th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We're glad you've joined us today. I'm Doug Brown, along with Dan Murphy. We have a big crowd here, and hopefully a lot of you at home anticipating the start of our 7th annual tournament. It's hard to believe.
Well, the air is electric. My adrenaline's flowing. I can imagine with the bowlers, but we're ready to go.
These 6 bowlers that we have for this field this year, as always, a terrific field. You have to be a solid bowler. First of all, to get on the program, there are so many steps that you have to go through, but then to come to this final step, the Tournament of Champions, really takes a special effort. And these 6 bowlers that we have in this year's tournament have combined for 41 wins here on Stars and Strikes.
Yeah, it's amazing. The bowlers will tell you they don't think about the Tournament of Champions, but when they get it in that championship match in a ladder, the next step is the Tournament Champion. They're thinking about it.
All right, let's meet our 2 bowlers that will kick off this year's tournament. First of all, our number 6 seed from Manchester, New Hampshire, John Plante.
Okay, John comes in averaging 117, has a high single of 184, and high triple of 441.
And John has made 3 previous singles appearances with us here on the Winds, and he has a record of 2-1. And he will be facing our number 5 seed in this 1995 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions from Fremont, New Hampshire, Jack Quinn.
Okay, Jack averaging 123, high single 192, high triple 477.
And Jack's record, 4-1 here on Stars and Strikes. So these 2 guys will square off in week 1. Of course, this is 5 weeks for the Tournament of Champions. The winner of the whole thing, of course, takes home a big check for $1,500. Don't forget, we have bonus money at work as well. We'll give you all the details about that and get this match started as we kick off the 1995 Tournament of Champions after these messages. Each of these 6 guys had to win a championship match during the season to get to this point, to qualify for the 1995 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We already introduced you to John Plante and Jack Quinn, our number 6 seed and our number 5 seed. Get this tournament started today. The winner of this match faces Tom Morgan next week. Gary Carrington is our number 3 seed in 2 weeks. 3 weeks from today, Chris Sargent comes in as the number 2 seed. And 4 weeks from today, the perennial Paul Berger, who has been in all 7 Tournament of Champions, is our number 1 seed. You notice those scores on the left, by the way, the 150 and the 140. That's how we settled that tie between Tom Morgan and Jack Quinn for the 4th seed. Tom Morgan had a 150 high single in his championship match. Jack Quinn's high single was 140. So by virtue of that,
Tom Morgan moves up to the number 4 seed, and Jack Quinn stays at number 5, and John Plante starts the tournament with a big 9 drop.
Everything but the 9. Always nice to get that first mark up on the board. Loosen yourself up. 2 choices here, right at the pin or the wood, and he elects to go right at the pin. And it's a spare in the first. And we're underway.
The last 2 balls that John threw in warm-ups were 9 drops, too.
It's true.
Trend.
That's right.
And how about another one? Absolutely.
This time, the 3-pin. And a piece of wood nestled right in next to it. Just wants to avoid the cap. And that's 2 in a row for John Plante. Out of the chute he comes. Now, John qualified with just a 344. If not the lowest qualifying score, it has to be pretty close.
But even though he had a 344 to qualify, he beat Paul Berger.
Yes, which is the number 1 seed. So
Paul had to come back later and win another championship match in order to get into this event. Jack Quinn. Jack Quinn was actually the first to qualify for the Tournament of Champions this year. He qualified back in October. That 397 was good enough to knock off Peter Pereira in the championship. And Jack starts out with a nice 10.
nice out there by Jack Quinn. The 4 horsemen plus the 610. You see the replay, just splitting the 1 and the 2.
Jack will now reset on lane 31 as he was clearing away a loose ball in the channel. $30, by the way, at the end of the hour in our bonus ball contest. Of course, the bowlers are going for bonus money as well. Just the same as we do during the regular season here on Stars and Strikes. $25 for 3 marks in a row. $25 for each additional consecutive mark. John Plante, of course, will have an opportunity for bonus money in a moment when he steps back up. $250 for 3 strikes in a row. An extra $250 for each additional consecutive strike. 2 spares for John Plante, 2 10s for Jack Quinn, and we are underway. And John now with an opportunity for bonus money. He's on the head pin again, but this time drops 7.
That's the good news. The bad news is the 5, 9, and 10, and no playable wood. Very difficult shot trying to hit the 5 on the left-hand side, jump it across. He's got a shot. Whoa. He actually threw that 5 between the 9 and the 10. And didn't get either one of them.
9 box for John.
45 through 3. Good start for John. Watch this 5 pin. Right in between. Back on the head pin again. This time, the triangle. 3, 5, and 6. Or the spare.
No.
Oh, boy.
And a 10 for John. So 2 opens this time. And an opportunity for Jack Quinn. Jack looking for his first mark of the day. And he may have an opportunity here as he's got wood on the deck. He'll be trying to throw the 3 pin or something over to get the 7, the 3, 6, 7, and 10 with wood. Waiting out the rolling wood. The spare, ooh.
Played it on the inside, tried to take advantage of that piece of wood in between, but still looking for his first mark.
Jack will take the 9 box this time. Jack from Fremont, New Hampshire. He and his wife Cheryl have 2 children, Joni and Nathan. Jack works at the Lafayette Lanes in Amesbury. A little full that time. And look out, the 7-10. But he will have some wood.
Well, it's good possibilities with the wood out front.
Yes. First
Great
mark
shot
for Jack Quinn. John Plante.
Oh, right back in the pocket. I don't think John has missed a head pin yet. This time the 4 and the 8 pins. Just sliding by the 4.
$10 for John. John Plante from Manchester, New Hampshire, works as a unit manager for Capital Credit Corporation. Does a lot of his bowling right here at Park Place Lanes. And the 4, 5, and 7 this time, but that wood out front could help a lot.
Well, I was going to say I'd take the one to the right, sweep everything across, but now it's in behind the front piece.
Yes. Just a question of whether that wood would cover everything, and it did.
Stubborn on the 5. 5 could hit actually from behind. Now Jack is right back in the pocket. This is on a spare, by the way. Big 9 fill. Just the 5. 2 in a row. Yes.
Yep. Now an opportunity for bonus money for Jack Quinn.
His first shot at that.
The bonus money provided, of course, by our good friends at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan, located on Main Street, Route 97, Salem, New Hampshire. Come to Salem and save. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Jack studying the 7, 9, and 10. Not to be. So each bowler has missed on a chance for bonus money, but the 2 marks in a row for Jack Quinn pull him back even temporarily, although John Plante will reestablish the lead with this fill ball on his spare in the 6th.
Well, he threw his hands up. He thought he was probably going to have the half wish to right, but he got away with a half dozen. 1, 2, 4, and 10. Piece of wood just to the right of the head pin in front of the 10. Now he's got to catch the head pin.
And it's 9. 90 through 7. Little thin. Oh, almost had the whole back row. Instead, he'll have the 7 and 10. The runner-up in this match today takes home 6th place prize money, $100. The winner, of course, moves on to face our number 4 seed, Tom Morgan, next week.
Tried to negotiate the 7-10 with the playable wood out front. Didn't happen for him. They end up with a 9. 99 through 8.
Here's the half Worcester for Jack. As we watch this match today, Dan, between the number 5 seed and the number 6 seed, it's interesting to point out that No number 5 or 6 seed has ever won the Tournament of Champions. However, the number 4 seed has won it twice. And even the number 1 seed has only won it twice. So
it's interesting stat. But it's probably because of the caliber bowler that was in the number 1 spot. I mean, you only had Pat Pay, Joe Ashline, Paul Berger twice, and Dan Broder. No, Dan Broder was 4th seed. So certainly don't lack for talent at number 1 spot. It's just it's an interesting stat the way it comes out. The number 4 is same as number 1.
Well, I think sometimes too it's like being a number 1 seed in anything. There's that added pressure. You only have to bowl one. You have to bowl just that one match, and that can be worse sometimes than bowling 2 or 3.
It's true.
Especially if you sit in that number 1 spot for almost the whole year, as Paul Berger has done this year. He's been thinking about that.
Oh, boy. There's our first strike of the match. Not quite the conventional way, but John won't refuse it.
And if we have time, we'll show you this entire replay. Nope, that's all the time we have. Sorry.
John's going to try it again. This time, well, the 1 in the 9.
Spare on strike?
Oh,
no.
Boy. Well, sometimes you get a few breaks, and other times you don't. That time it looked like he was going to cover the 1-9 without any problem.
10 for John in a 128 opening game. So what I started to say was Paul Berger has been sitting there with that 454 since Christmas weekend and thinking about that being in that number 1 spot. Plus, I'm sure Paul has been thinking about the fact that he's been in the tournament each of the first 6 years it's been held. 3 of those times he's been the number 1 seed, but he's only won it once.
Ouch. Just knocked the 4-pin out of there. The 4, 7, 8, and 10.
Incidentally, we talked about the fact that no number 5 or 6 seed has ever won the Tournament of Champions, but a number 6 seed did get into the championship match one year, and that was 1990. Al Cloutier won the first 4 matches to advance to the championship before he finally lost to Paul Berger.
A good try by Jack.
So John Plante will have the lead after game 1. It's an 8-box for Jack Quinn. He will settle for a 109. So a 19-pin advantage for John Plante. We'll be back on Candlepin Stars and Strikes in a minute. Set to go, game 2. Crowd fired up here for the Tournament of Champions.
Jack's got a lot of rooters here, too, and just egging them on to cause some noise. That'll wake them up.
Pretty loud 9 drop there. And the spare. That's the 3rd mark for Jack Quinn. All of them spares to this point.
Off the head pin, but gets a break. Actually, a real good break. The 1 and the 7, and look at the wood. Looks like it's in nice position to clear the 7 pin out of there if he hits the head pin. 2 in a row, and that'll wake the crowd up.
Each bowler with 4 marks now. John has 3 spares and a strike. John Plante with the lead going into game 2 here, but now sees 2 spares on the other side of the scoreboard. And John scores one. Inverting the triangle.
Right back at Jack Quinn. Puts a mark of his own up, trying to protect a 19-pin lead after one game.
Oh, for the second first ball in a row, he almost had a diamond lead. The last time he kicked out the back pin. This time he kicked out the side pin on the right. This is a much tougher lead, of course. For the spare, he's got it. The wood in the middle helps.
Well, all said and done, Jack Quinn gained 1 pin in that exchange so far, with the 8 on his spare as opposed to John's 7. Jack will fill the second of 2 marks. He stumbled a little bit at the line that time.
Not too bad, considering 6 fill.
I hate when that happens. It's enough to drive you crazy. Stick at the line. Ooh, slides off to the right.
And the 8 for Jack.
It's a little out of sync, that whole box for Jack Quinn, and I think it's because of that first ball. Moves over to lane 31.
Right through the heart. Spread eagle minus the 7 pin. And another 8-box. Jack has had 5 8-boxes already in this match. Well, John Plante now with his second opportunity for bonus money. And, oh my, drops 7, the 5, 7, and 10.
Well, he gained another in count opposite Jack's 6 on a spare. But the 5, 7, 10, no easy task.
No, nothing there. Looked like he might have had a play if he were able to pinch the 5 pin in the wood, but even that I don't think would have done it. Nice out for the 9, though. Sure John would like to save that shot for maybe a spare shot.
Pushes the lead to 20. And got a chance to make some more ground, put some distance between him and Jack with an open box facing him. But this isn't going to be easy. The 2, 4, 7, and the 3 pin, but watch out. Oh, oh, look at this. Wood turn. The second piece may cause him a problem now, but let's see. All the way down. Nicely done.
Sweeps it through. Another mark for John Plante. We will take a break. From Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, the 1995 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
Here are the winning numbers from last night's Tri-State Megabucks drawing.
Jack Quinn.
Kicks out the 5 pin. Looked like it was the 5, 6, 10 at first, and a piece of wood came off, knocked the 5 pin down. 6, 10 for the spare.
Yes. Very cleanly done. Back in October, when Jack Quinn became the first to qualify this year for the Tournament of Champions, he beat Tom O'Brien, throwing a 406. Big 9 drop for Jack. He threw a 406 to beat Tom O'Brien, and then he threw the 397 that qualified him for the tournament, beating Peter Pereira. And 2 spares in a row coming back.
A little body English on that one. He thought he might have gone by. The wood helped him on that, make it 2 in a row, and Jack Quinn's one of those bowlers. He will not quit. He's got to run out of boxes or something to mathematically be out of it.
John Plante working on a spare, and he leaves the 7-10. We've seen this, what, 3 times already?
He got a double piece of wood in front of the 7. There's no choice here but to try to move those 2 pieces over and get the 10. And so he tries for the 10. Call me a liar.
From his reaction, I'm not sure that's what he wanted to do.
I probably want to go way low on that wood and clip the 10 pin, but let's see what happens here. Well,
maybe not there. John's lead at 20 halfway through the match, but of course he's opposite another mark here in the 6th.
Just catching the head pin. 3, 6, 10, piece of wood out in front. It may turn a little. You're going to have to deal with the 10 pin, I believe. That second piece should help it.
Spare it is.
Matches the spare put up by Jack Quinn. The lead remains at 20. Both bowlers will fill those spares.
Very quietly, both of these guys are working on terrific scores right now as they're putting the marks up in bunches all of a sudden.
Jack has a chance for bonus money.
Gets the big fill, dropping 9.
You can't even hear that ball hit the lane. He's so smooth. For bonus money.
He's got it. Each bowler had missed their first 2 opportunities at bonus money, but that time Jack Quinn right on the single pin for $25 from Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Right back in the pocket again. This time, oh, I was going to say that was a bad break, but it did take the 7 as well. Another 9-pin drop. Wood in front of the 8-pin, trying to make it 4 in a row and continue the bonus streak.
Yes, $25 more. 4 spares in a row for Jack Quinn. And now John Plante working on a spare. And he went through the middle, but what a big break. It's not a great leave, but I think he figured he would get no more than 3 or 4 on the fill.
No, I think he's got to shoot the 10-pin and try to catch some of that wood. May be able to pull this off. No, just the wood. That was the idea, though. All of a sudden, this match is going to be just about even.
John takes 9. He's still in the lead, but it's down to 8, and he is opposite another mark here.
Yeah, without a mark, this could be very close.
Oh, John answers back with a big first ball, and he'll have a 9-pin drop with a wobbling 10-pin. You got to watch out for that wood in front, though. It turns. There is room to go by.
The wood did turn, so it's almost an inviting. Yeah, I would have too, John. No question in my mind.
He had room to go by it, but not a lot of room.
The only difference between John and me, he waited a little longer than I would have waited. Jack Quinn trying to keep the streak alive. This time a little full, leaves himself down. 3 and 7.
Jack already at 125 through 8. Looking for $25 more in bonus money, and not to be. Nine for 134 through 9.
Shows the total lead at 0 right now. Of course, it is until John Plante fills his spare. 3, 5, 6, and 10. No wood.
No, not quite. Leaving the 6-pin. Got a fine middle game for Jack Quinn. He threw 6 marks up there, including 4 in a row for bonus money. He finishes with a 9, a 143, and a 2-game total of 252. John Plante now to try and preserve his lead. Just 3.
One of the few times he was off the head pin this whole match. The lead is just 3 pins right now.
And a 10 box for John.
Make it 4 now. John would love a mark here, try to push the lead up into double figures. He's right in the 1-3 pocket.
Oh, what a strange leave.
Wow. What is that?
The 4, 9, and 10. How about that leave?
And what do you do?
Well, there's wood coming over. Let's see. Oh, it's in front of the 4-pin.
Well, you say to yourself, if I wanted to spare, what's the most difficult pin I'm going to have to contend with? And that's the 4-pin. I think you have to play the wood in front of the 9 and 10. Maybe even cap that one. Get all the wood moving. That's what he's going to try to do. No, nope. Just a little too far right. A little farther left, it might have snapped it a little more, but the right idea.
Well, this match is going to be very, very tight going to the third and final game. John Plante, a 129 here in game 2, a 2-game total 257, and John's lead is 5 with 1 game to go. First match of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions will continue in a minute. At the end of the hour, as always, our bonus ball contest. We had a winner a couple of weeks ago. We've had a couple of winners recently, in fact, so we're at $30 this week. Plus, of course, a couple of sets of brand new bowling balls from Paramount Industries on the line as well. You can only win if we have your postcards, regular size postcards only, please. Include your name, full address, including zip code, and the number of pins you think will drop on the bonus ball, the number from 1 to 10, and mail those cards in to Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. Good luck. All right, back to business. Game 3 of this first match on the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, and John Plante with a 5-pin lead.
John has never trailed in the match. Opened up with 2 marks and has held that lead. Went as high as 20, I believe, is...
Actually, got a little bit higher than that. Got up to 30 briefly in that second game, but it didn't last long because of Jack Quinn's flurry of marks. But you're right, John has led from wire to wire here. But I dare say that Jack Quinn will have at least one more run left in him before this is over.
Right. That's right. I would not count on Jack just laying back. You've got to put some marks up and increase that lead a little bit. John is right back on the head pin, and this
Look
time...
out. Oh.
The 3-pin. With wood in front that Doug and I could handle 8 out of 10 times.
John's waiting for a ball to come back. I'm sure he doesn't want to wait to shoot this one.
No.
Spare it is for John Plante. That is his 10th mark in this match.
Well, he did what he wanted to do. I'm sure he wanted 2 marks, but at least put up 1 out of 2. Jack Quinn, he's thinking 2 for 2, obviously. He's down by 5.
Boy, he punched through, but all in all, not bad. He takes out 7. It's a terrible leave, but he does have wood on the plate on the 7, 8, and 10.
There's 3 pieces of wood in front of the 8-pin.
Uh-oh.
Oh, just didn't catch enough of it.
While we have a second, Dan, I want to mention a piece of mail that came in. As we say from time to time, we don't get a chance to answer all of the mail, either by letter or on the air, but every once in a while we do like to identify specific letters and answer them on the air. We got a very fun note from...
Pronounce her name right now.
Ms. Elizabeth Clayton from Westford, Mass. And Elizabeth just had a very simple question. Those of you who are familiar with the program have seen Ed Gerolman on our show from time to time. As Jack Quinn can't convert, so he'll be open in his first 2 boxes. Elizabeth's question was very simple. She wants to know why, when Ed's last name is spelled Joralmon, that we pronounce it Gerolman instead of Geralman, which is how it appears that it should be pronounced from the spelling. Well, Elizabeth, the answer is very simple. That's how he pronounces it. Big strike for John Plante.
On spare.
Strike on spare. We take another look. Second strike of the day for John Plante, and now he has an opportunity for bonus money. Oh, a double. Not only the bonus money, but a double strike. Oh, my. That was a powerful ball right there for
both
John.
of those strikes.
Jack Quinn needs marks in a hurry now. So, getting back to Elizabeth Clayton for a second, that's your answer, Elizabeth. It's a simple rule in broadcasting, but it's one we tend to follow. We ask people how they pronounce their name, and we pronounce it that way. I mean, if she wanted her name pronounced Clayton,
yeah,
that's how we pronounce
Absolutely.
it.
We aim to please.
In fact, we've even had one bowler that I can think of who's actually changed the pronunciation of his name.
That's right.
While he's been with us on the air. So we'll leave that open as a trivia question. Actually, we shouldn't, because we'll leave it open for the whole summer.
There's a big strike for Jack.
Boy, he needed that. That will take us to a break. Each bowler with strikes up in the fourth. We'll be back on the Tournament of Champions in a minute. Well, John Plante has the lead. He also has a double strike working. And 3 marks in a row working. Well, he doesn't get the 250, but he can still get 25 more if he converts this spare.
It's not going to be an easy one. His triangle is not easy anyways, but he's got a piece of wood looking right at him that's going to prevent him from coming in nice and tight on that 3-pin.
Robbed him of the shot. And the 10.
And gives him a fair half at 86.
Yeah.
I think I threw a 97 the other night in the league. 10 frames. Right back in the pocket, 6-10.
We should clear up that little mystery about the bowler who changed the pronunciation of his name. It's John Maffeo, who at first was asking that we pronounce his name Maffeo.
That's right. And he moved away for a year. He came back and he had a new name. It's amazing how that happens. Oh, John, tough break on that one. He just picks out the 6-pin and had the 6-10.
And that's certainly not getting back to Ed Jerome, it's not an uncommon occurrence that a name would be pronounced differently from how you would expect it.
But I know something like that could really get you, drive you crazy. We don't want that to happen.
Well, like, I was very surprised when I first met you that your name was pronounced Murphy, because the way you spell it, M-U-R-Q-P-H-Y, the Q is silent, and I would never have guessed that. Jack Quinn on a strike. Needs marks.
8 fill on the strike. He needs some bonus money. That's what he needs. Of course, along with that comes a streak of marks, which Jack is desperately in need of. 56 at the halfway point. Lead now 35 for John Plante. 5 boxes remaining for Jack. Two, 4, 5, and 7 pins. No wood.
Oh, nice
right
effort.
Behind the 5. Well, 35 down. Jack's about, well, 4 marks anyways. 3 good marks behind with 4 frames remaining.
Well, he knows opportunity lost right there, too, because there were 2 open frames by John Plante, and now John is staring at a spare opportunity here. Got it. That's mark number 13 for John Plante. He started the match with 2 spares, and he's been pretty consistent throughout. Just 5 on the fill there. If he gets 1 more mark, he'll have a 400 series. Oh, sliding by. Trying to play that head pin on the outside, it appeared. That's what he wanted to do. It's a 9-box.
Well, Jack's got to be thinking strikes. He's got to do the same thing that John Plante did in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, where he went spare double strike.
Oh, there's a big first ball, but Jack doesn't quite carry the 7-pin.
Pin spinning, doesn't touch the 7.
But where will it stop? Well, right there isn't bad. Jack would have preferred the strike, but he'll take the spare and try and work something from here. off the head pin that time. And all he can do is match the spare 5 that John Plante put up.
This is almost a must. He'll still mathematically be there, but very difficult now.
$8. And actually, John Plante could mathematically close Jack out here in the final 2. You see the lead, 36, so that means if John Plante were to get 25 pins here, he would, in the last 2 boxes, he would close it out. He would also have a 400 triple if he were to do that. Nothing there. Over there either. Just a 6 box. Well, that is the first box in this match under a 9 for John Plante. His final box now. Not exactly what you'd call a spare leave, although there's a lot of wood on the deck for the 3, 4, 7, and 10. Let's see. Not quite enough. So John will be in the 390s. He has not mathematically closed Jack Quinn out, as he's able to get just 9 pins in the, rather 15 pins in the final 2. A 135 for 392 for John. Jack must have strikes, and that will do it. John Plante has won it. Even a spare would not have helped at that point. Of course, he still had room for bonus money, and of course, there's still the possibility he could throw a triple strike here in the 10th, which would be a good way to go out. But John Plante has won the match, and he will be back next week to face our number 4 seed, Tom Morgan. You really can almost say, Dan, that except for that brief flurry in the second game, Jack really never got it going today. And that'll be a 10, a 109 for Jack Quinn, and a 3-game total of 361. John Plante takes the win here in Week 1 of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, and we'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Park Place Lanes. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and show number 1 of this Tournament of Champions in the book. Kind of a good omen, I guess, for John Plante. He started out the match with those 2 marks in a row, and Jack Quinn, although he had a fine second game, as we talked, really never got things going the way he would have liked, and John was able to stay in front the whole match.
Yeah, there was just one streak there. Jack looked like himself. Other than that, he kind of struggled, and of course, John put up that spare double strike that 3rd game, and that kind of sealed the fate. All
right, let's talk to both bowlers. First of all, Jack Quinn, come on up. Jack will take a check for $100 for 6th place, and also $50 in bonus money, so you won't leave empty-handed. But well, you had it going there for that one stretch, the spares in the second game. But other than that, it really didn't happen for you.
I didn't even really feel comfortable with second string. It's just one of them days where you just don't find that that nice smooth ball.
Well, I know that certainly it's a great accomplishment to get to your first Tournament of Champions, and we hope to see you again real soon.
It was fun being here.
Thanks very much, Jack. All right, congratulations. And now, Jack, a very shy bowler, obviously. John Plante now for our bonus ball contest. $30 on the line. I hate to think of what Jack would have done if he had won. A 7 for John Plante, and let's see if it's a match. It is a winner for Francis Clark in Concord, New Hampshire. Congratulations, Francis. That's $30 for you and a brand new set of bowling balls for both you and this gentleman, John Plante. Slide right in here so we can get you on camera. A good start. That had to make you feel pretty good. Go up there, throw a couple of quick spares, and you stayed in front the whole match.
Yeah, I wanted to get off to a quick start. I didn't want to fall behind like I have in the past. I want to fight back, play catch-up the whole time.
Well, now your reward for having beaten Jack Quinn is that you get to bowl against Tom Morgan.
Oh, yeah. It just gets easier, right?
Congratulations, John. Congratulations for the win, and we'll see you next week. All right, that's John Plante. with a 392 and a victory over Jack Quinn today. And here's the way it will shape up for next week. John Plante, our number 6 seed, advances. Could he become the second number 6 seed to get to the championship match? Well, he's got a long way to go. He'll have to fight Tom Morgan next week.
That's right. He's got to look at one match at a time, one game at a time, even one box at a time.
All right, next Sunday, of course, we will be back with match number 2 of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Don't forget, this coming Saturday, April 29th at 12 noon, we will have a special rebroadcast for you in our Saturday time slot of the Christmas Day singles match between Paul Berger and Glenn Shattuck. And, of course, on Sunday, next Sunday, we will be back with match number 2 of the Tournament of Champions as John Plante goes for his 2nd win in a row. He'll face Tom Morgan. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole Winds of New England crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a good week. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Tonight on WNDS, join millions of your fellow fans and watch the winsome Ms. White turn those tiles on Wheel of Fortune. That's tonight at 6, and at 6:30, Alex Trebek teases your intellect on the game with all the right questions. Wheel at 6, Jeopardy at 6:30. That's tonight on WNDS. This is WNDS, and the fun starts here. Coming up next, it's the Sunday double feature on Movie Watch. That's right, 2 movies for a whole afternoon of fun.